Sorry.
You're good.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start by asking you to introduce yourself a bit.
Okay, yeah. My name is Zach Hillhouse. Uh, I am a graduating senior. I'm committed to run for BYU after I'm gonna go on a LDS mission to the Philippines for 2 years, and then I'll run for BYU throughout college. My PRs are 3:59 in the mile, uh, 150 in the 800, and 9:02 in the 3200.
Okay. So I guess I'll start by asking you, when did you start running and like kind of why did you start running?
So originally I started back in elementary. It was nothing too serious, just a lot of local 5Ks. And then, me and my brother, we started to run with um, it was a like club cross country team. And we did that for 2 years, and then we just started to get a lot more serious and get more into it. And after that, that was really when it started to take off.
Okay. So did you do any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I was a big soccer kid up until eighth grade. I had a team I was on. We were like, I think AAA is what it was
Hmm.
called. And we did that I did that until eighth grade. And then had to step away because it was just too much going on at once.
Okay. So how would you say that impacted your running, like wise going into the future?
Uh, I feel like it really helped because it was it was great while I was in soccer. Like it was great to get that extra cardio and to
Hmm.
have that good culture just with everyone trying to work forward and get better. But then it was a lot better once I stepped away, just because then I could put my full focus into track and cross country and to be able to really progress a lot more.
Okay. So what was like the main reasoning you decided to go all in with cross country and track?
A big part of it was just I enjoyed it. Like
Hmm.
the team culture was a big part of it. It's like it was a lot of guys that I really just wanted to be around, and I enjoyed cross country and running a lot more than soccer. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it and found it as like my kind of thing to do.
Okay. So, in your opinion, what year, like in your running career, would you be like, okay, I can go to college for this, I can be successful in the future with this? Like, at what point was that?
That was definitely not until my senior year, because up until then, I feel like I mean, I loved to be at cross country. I loved to do it, but I hadn't been putting in as much work as I should have. And
Hmm.
going into senior year, I knew that this was my year. This was where I needed to put it. I needed to go all in, and no matter what, I was gonna do the best that I could. And
Okay.
after that, I was able to just progress a lot
Hmm.
more.
Okay, so like, how did your peers differ from junior to like senior year?
My my PRs. It was uh my 1600 junior year was 426, and I dropped that down to a 359. Uh,
Crazy.
yeah, my 800 was a 157, and I dropped that to a 150, and I didn't do the 3200 at all that year.
Hmm. Okay, so like, how has your training changed from last year to this year? Because obviously you've had some drastic time drops.
But yeah, um, I feel a big part of it was not necessarily upping my mileage, but upping the intensity.
Hmm.
So I feel like I was around the same mileage, like maybe a 10 mile per week difference at most, but it was probably less than that. But and so I would like on my distance runs instead of going like a 6:30, which I would do the
Hmm.
other years. This year I'd be going up to like a 5:45 for like 7 miles or something. And it was just being a lot more intense and knowing every day at practice that if I wanted to get where I wanted to go, I needed to be working, put in the work at practice.
Okay. So how much mileage a week were you doing around?
In the summer, during summer training, I think I got up to about 60 miles a week. But
Hmm.
then during in season, I think in cross I got up to like I was like 40 to 50 miles per week. And during track, I was like 30 to 40 miles per week.
Okay. So that's pretty low mileage compared to some of the guys who are running like 70, 80 even. Like, how do you think that affects you? Do you think low mileage benefits you more?
Um, I can't say I haven't really tried to do more mileage,
Hmm.
but as far as I know, it's worked out pretty good. I've enjoyed it, and it's been super nice to be able to put in the work and be able to know it's like I feel it while I'm in practice
Hmm.
that I'm able to be that I'm working towards it and it's helping me.
Okay. So you're obviously in a pretty competitive region with like Daniel Simmons and a bunch of other quick guys. How do you think that affects you as like an athlete since you have so much competition there?
Oh, it was such a blessing. It helped me so much. Because it's like every single race you're gonna have some kind of powerhouse racing against you, and you know that there's always going to be somebody to run with, somebody to pace with, and
Hmm.
there's going to be some kind of competition, and it's just so amazing to be able to just have that be kind of the norm.
Hmm. So after a pretty successful cross country season, what was your mindset going in the track?
Definitely, I knew I could do great things. It definitely helped me with because it just gave me that confidence to be able to go out and say, yeah, I can do this. I can
Mhm.
go out. I can break four if I can put my mind to it, if I can put in the training for it.
So was the goal from the beginning of the season sub four?
No, not at all. So the original goal was to make the standards for BYU because I was talking to the coach and I really
Hmm.
wanted to go to BYU. So I was talking to the coach and he said, I for the mile I needed to do either a 409 up at 4,500 feet or a 406 um down at sea level. And then I went to Arcadia and I did a 407 for the full mile, and that was like a 406 1600, and that's when I was able to start talking to the coach and be able to talk about recruiting more. And after that, after Arcadia, that's when I first set my mind to sub four. I was like, I I do think I can do this by the end of the season if I can put in the more work, put in the and be able to have the opportunity. So it was really Arcadia was the first time that I got it in my head.
Okay. So then going into like postseason races, obviously you had good races like during the normal season, had lots of good times. And then going into postseason, kind of like, what was your goal? Did you get recruited or did you sign with BYU at that point?
Yeah, I signed with BYU. I think it was like either end of April, beginning of May. I think it was beginning of May.
Uh,
Yeah, I signed with them. It was like a week before our state meet. So going into postseason, I was already signed, but I knew that I could do sub four. I just needed to have
hmm.
a good race because we have our BYU meet. At that meet, I did a 404 1600 up at 1600 or 4,500 feet, and
Okay.
that was where I knew I could do it if I was in the right mindset for a race down at sea level.
Hmm.
And so going into the postseason races, I had high hopes. And at Hoka Festival of Miles, I think the week before that, I just hadn't been doing exactly what I should have done. So that was not a great race. And that was like a reality check for me for the postseason races. It was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I really need to lock in. I need to get
Mhm.
back into the grind, and that was just such a blessing to be able to have that like week after to be able to up my training and up my
Mhm.
intensity just to ensure that I would have the opportunity.
Okay. So where did the decision to go to New Balance over Nike come from?
So I was originally planning on going to Nike just because it was closer to home. And
Yeah.
then I got a call from one of the people at New Balance and they told me that they wanted me to come and they would pay for my flights and my hotel and
Oh, really?
like give me a racing uniform if I came over there. And that was that was great. And that was the decision, but and it was great because I think New Balance was a lot better competition.
Yeah. So kind of just like walk us through like what your mindset was while you were racing and like when you were looking at the clock and seeing the splits go by, going into that like final lap where you would eventually get second with a sub four.
Yeah, so going into the race, I kept telling myself that I had to stick in the middle of the pack for the first few laps of the
Hmm.
race because I knew that if I went out in front for the first laps, I would not be able to hold it. I wouldn't be able to um I wouldn't be able to make it through the whole race. And I learned that probably at Hoka Festival of Miles. It's just like not the racing style that fits me. I'm a
Hmm.
lot better at closing. So I stuck with Danny Simmons because I know from previous races that I could stick with him. And then around the second lap, I think is where I started to make my move because I still had enough energy in me to keep going to go and push myself. And I knew that this was my last race and I really wanted to give it everything I got. So that's where I started to make my move. And then that last lap is just where had to go all in, had to give it everything I had. And I just went as hard as I could. And I caught up to Drew. I think it was like 150 to 100 left. And I was just giving it everything I had. And yeah, it was a great race. It was the smartest race I probably ever run.
Okay. So that was fantastic. I really wish I could have watched because I was there like 2 days before for the 2 mile, but then we like flew out the next day. But that would have been
Uh,
such a crazy race to watch. And in my opinion, you were probably like the biggest, I don't want to say upset, but like the biggest sleeper of the entire race, like in the entire weekend.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you
I
did the
bet.
BYU, oh, you can go.
I was just gonna say, I definitely think I was a lot more unknown, and people just, I don't know, didn't know my name. I wasn't one of
Hmm.
the big names, and but yeah, it all worked out real good.
Yeah. So, do you think, like, coming back from that race, like, you kind of have, like, an idea in your mind, like, okay, I'm pretty confident now? And do you think that confidence will help you with your racing in the future after your mission?
Yeah, I definitely think going into college, it'll give me a lot of confidence to
Hmm.
help push me, and it'll just help me get like I don't know, have bigger goals, bigger expectations for myself that'll help me to push and get the right training in and to have a good mindset.
Okay. So, when you're going to BYU, do you think you have a chance of becoming maybe the second person to ever run sub four on an indoor track?
Oh gosh, I think there's definitely the ability to,
Hmm.
but oh yeah, it's we'll have to see. I definitely think my senior year I'll be able to do it.
Okay. So, kind of going back to New Balance Nationals, what was your cool down like? Like, we just had so much adrenaline, like, kind of how did that go afterwards? Did you even cool down? Or like,
Yeah, my cool down, I was I was just pumped up. I went with one of my Utah friends and we just ran around the practice field they had. But it
Hmm.
was it was kind of wild. I feel like I just had so much like post race adrenaline rushing through me. I feel like I have a lot of energy, but my legs were just totally exhausted. It was like my
Okay.
mind was so awake and my legs
Yeah.
were just so dead.
So after going into the summer, is your training going to be intense? Like since you have that mission for 2 years, you probably can't get too much training done while you're doing that. So like what will your mindset be for this summer training?
Yeah, for summer training, I'm not going super hard. I feel like it's just gonna be I'm gonna go train with the BYU guys every now and then just to get to know everyone on the
Hmm.
team. But I don't have any specific training plans set. I don't have any specific plans just because of the mission. And over the mission, I'm just gonna try to stay as fit as possible. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring a jump rope and see if that'll help me and see just yeah, just kind of waiting until after the mission.
Yeah. So a lot of is it mandatory at BYU to do a mission, or is it just like if you want to?
No,
Okay.
it's definitely not mandatory. It's
Uh-huh.
up to you personally. Yeah, you don't even have to be religious. I'm pretty sure they've had a lot of non-LDS runners run for them. But yeah, you definitely don't have to
Yeah.
be. You don't have to go on a mission. That's up to you personally.
Okay. So a good bit of people, especially like I only really follow runners, so I wouldn't know about like just like normal individuals at like the college. But like Daniel Simmons will be going on a mission too. I know he's coming to Atlanta actually, which is where I live, so that's pretty cool. But during the mission, like, how do you feel like your religion has impacted you, or religious beliefs have impacted you with your running career?
I feel like it's helped me a lot just because then
Mm.
every before every race I always say a prayer and I feel like that just helps me so much both with mindset and it gives me added strength just to be able to run my best in my race that I can, and it's just been so amazing to see how God can impact me
Hmm.
within running.
Okay. So going into college after your 2 year mission, kind of what's your plan? Because you still have a couple years of eligibility. You'll be a bit more mature by then, like be more of a veteran in running. So like, what's your plan going into that?
Yeah, so I don't leave until like mid-September for my mission just because you have to be 18 and I have a late birthday.
Uh-huh.
And so the plan is to just go do my full 2 years for my mission and then I'll come back. I'll miss the fall semester and then I'll be able to train and get back into shape all fall going into the winter. And then hopefully I'll be ready for the winter semester or yeah, the winter semester in indoor track. And if not, then I'll use a red shirt, but hopefully for sure I'll be
Hmm.
ready to run and race by uh spring track. And then after that, it'll just be going doing the normal college I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. So if you could like achieve one thing by the end of your collegiate career, what would it be?
I want to make it to the Olympic trials. That's
Hmm.
a big goal. It's been a goal ever since I was young is to make it to the Olympic trials and hopefully the Olympics. So I definitely think I have a shot. I just need to get the right training, get the right
Hmm.
mindset, and have a collegiate uh season or collegiate whatever. Yeah. Sorry, I can't think. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think post college you're gonna be running still professionally, possibly?
I'd love to. I definitely think it's a possibility because BYU they offer like a post collegiate
Hmm.
kind of a team. So I
Yeah.
definitely think it's a possibility, but it is probably too soon to tell. There could
Hmm.
be big changes throughout college.
Okay. So if you do end up running professionally, what brand would you want to be sponsored by?
Oh, I've thought about this a little bit. I don't know. There's not very many brands I would say no to. I'll just put it at
Yeah.
that. I feel like most brands I would be beyond excited to sign with.
Is there any one brand that you're like, I'm not signing with, no matter what?
Um, I don't think so. I feel like pretty much all shoes that I've worn,
Hmm.
I've pretty much liked, and I think yeah, I'd be happy with most brands.
Okay. So we're gonna change it up a little, like to more rapid questions, I guess. So starting with cross country or track?
Cross country for the vibes, track for the actual running.
Okay. So volume or intensity? You kind of answered this earlier, but
Yeah, intensity. That's what I do.
okay. Calories or quality of calories? Like quantity of calories versus quality. So like diet wise.
Hmm. I feel like, gosh, I feel like quality is a big thing in it. I would say
Hmm.
quality.
Okay. So what are three random facts about you?
Um, let's see. I play piano. Um, I love to hunt and I love the mountains. I love just everything around me. And then, I'm a big skier too. I love to
Okay.
ski.
Okay. So in your opinion, who is the greatest American distance runner of all time?
Hmm. Probably gotta go with Steve Prefontaine.
That's a good answer. Okay. In your opinion, who is the greatest distance slash middle distance runner right now?
I'm gonna go with Josh Kerr. I'm a Josh Kerr fan.
You're a Josh Kerr fan. Do you see him winning the Olympics?
Definitely a possibility. I definitely think it's possible.
Hmm.
I'd love to see it happen.
Who do you think could cause the biggest upset at the Olympics winning the 1500?
Mm. Magoo's. I think
Like
Magoo. I'd
is
love to see Magoo's. I would absolutely love to see Magoo's win it. That'd
I
make
think
me
yeah,
so
I think that would be a really cool thing to see. I also think seeing like Jake Whiteman come up and
happy.
win,
Yeah,
that would be fun to see. Seems like a great runner, great guy. Or like Hobbs
yeah,
Kessler even. That would be fun to see.
that'd be super cool.
So do you think like obviously Hobbs skipped out on college racing? How do you think like he would play in like if he was racing collegiately right now, like do you think he'd be winning a lot of races or like how do you think that would affect him?
Hmm. I think a big part of it would depend on his coaches. If
Yeah.
yeah, I think if he had the right coach, then definitely he would be a big powerhouse in college
Hmm.
in the collegiate sports. But if yeah, a big thing would be if just watching injuries because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that just get their athletes injured when they have
Hmm.
a big like possibilities.
Yeah. So, do you believe in like threshold training? Have you looked into it at all? Or like any of the scientific based training?
I haven't looked super big into it. I haven't really done much with it at all. I don't think.
Okay. Do you double?
I would double like kind of in the during cross country. I would just do like a. It wouldn't be like a double threshold. It would just be like a
Yeah.
nice, easy like recovery run in the mornings, and then my workouts or distance runs in the afternoon.
Hmm. So, how do you think training in Utah has affected you as like a runner?
It's definitely been really good for me, just to because it's been so nice to be able to go from 4,500 feet down to these sea level
Yeah.
races and just be able to have that oxygen, and it just affects you so much more than you would think.
Yeah. So do you like any other cross training while since you're relatively low mileage, I guess?
Not really. I feel like a big part of it is I just do a lot more intensity and then I just
Hmm.
focus on recovery.
So how many workouts a week are you doing?
I would do 2 or 3 a week.
2 or 3? And then would you
Yeah,
do a long run as well?
not really. We wouldn't do, yeah, my team didn't do like very many long runs, at
Hmm.
least during the season. We would do them more in the summer, but not very many in the season.
Okay. So in your opinion, who is the most overrated professional runner right now and underrated?
I feel like underrated is Nagoose.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think overrated. I think I gotta go with Yakov in the original.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are like kind of praising him a lot more when I don't know. He's just like saying he's a lot, like he's everything, and then
Hmm.
there's like I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay. So who do you think could like be oh wait. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Who do you think would be like the like most like there's three runners who in the US trying to make the team really. Goose, Hawker and Kessler. Out of those three, who do you think is most likely to not make the team, I guess?
oh,
Or do
I
you
have
see
no,
a fourth party, like someone
I
else
have,
who could be
yeah, I have no idea. I haven't been following it nearly as much as I should have.
uh-huh. Okay. So going into college, who are you most excited to like see again and race against or race with if they're your teammate or something like that?
My buddy from Harriman, Will Stedman, he was in the mile. I'm so excited to be racing with him. Yeah, we've been just going back and forth throughout the whole season, and it's just been so great to be able to race with him. I've been able to go to like all these
Hmm.
big races like Festival of Miles and Rex GR and New Balance Nationals with him, and it's just been so fun to be able to race with him and to be able to hang out with him. Get
Okay. So I don't have any more questions for you besides one, and that's how would you like to end your career if you could end it any way you want?
him. I feel like ending it with probably the Olympics in the long term.
Hmm.
That's my long term goal. I really want to make it there. So I'm gonna put everything I can into it. But if I don't do that, then I'd be happy with just getting some good times in college and being,
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have any more questions for you. If you have any for me, I can answer them, and if not,
uh, I don't think I have any.
okay.
Well, not that I know of. Not that I can
Okay.
think of.
So thank you so much for the interview. It was great to get to know you, and I'm really excited to see what you can do in college. And great job at New
Yeah.
Balance Nationals. It was a fun race to watch.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. See ya.
See ya.